Welcome to Aesthetic Academy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Aesthetic Academy. I'm Tap, as always. Today, we're not joined by B. We're not joined by Mint, but someone just as lovely and wonderful. We're joined by the amazing Choni.
Yay, you're amazing substitute teacher, bitches.
Yeah. All right. So we were gonna do a little bit of chalk talk, but since we have a substitute today, figure we'll wheel out the the TV, pop in a movie, and we'll just chill. Yeah. How about some good chill art?
Yeah, I'm fucking down for chiller.
Hell yeah. Next time, though, be ready. We're gonna talk about where to start with art. But for now, let's close out the chalkboard. You guys are lucky. There's no lesson today. 3750. Boom. All right. Okay. So, Choni, why don't you tell me a little bit about your piece you're working on?
She was a old D&D character. I guess I could call a friend, an acquaintance was a DM who did like really good campaigns. But they did a kind of villain league where literally we could pick any creature from the monster manual.
Yeah.
And they were like, just go ham. And so I picked a Yanti abomination, and her name is Asuka Yumi. She is a bard, but I forgot which college it was. I know it wasn't like a popular college. I'm trying to remember.
Was it College
Eloquence?
of Eloquence? Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I
that
remember.
shit. Yeah, because she's a cult leader, and that was her whole shtick, and then she was continuing to go around and continue her reign and destroy one of the gods in her Yanti clan, so living her best life.
Hell yeah. I think I might do a D&D character as well.
Ooh.
Feels like a D&D kind of mood. I want to do a few campaigns. I'm always talking about doing campaigns, but the one I'm most excited for is to play a Strixhaven character, because my bread and butter is like Magic the Gathering plus ink stuff. I'm like, oh, come on, you gotta. And I love the Harry Potter vibe of Strixhaven without, all of the it's just not written by Hatsune Miku, really. But I am planning on playing a Silver Quill.
I will be playing the DM in that.
You'll be playing the DM. Oh my god. You'll be playing God?
Oh my god, God in this economy?
God in this economy? It's more likely than you think.
We could also just get on like the topic of like just how D&D sessions and stuff goes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. But I've also been like super conscious about like streaming like one session, but at the same time I'm like stuff still feels so like private, and then like it's such a unique experience knowing that like you had to be there.
Yeah.
Kind of feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of works out really well with people who've been playing for a really long time, and especially playing in the same group for a really long time. Like it becomes easier, I feel, to let other people in on that kind of that space, you know what I mean? When there's a lot of like comfort already with like who your character is and who your other players are, but when you're fresh and new, I always feel like it's it's important to
It's
just
awkward as hell.
yeah, and it's important to like give them that kind of safe space to explore and check stuff out and whatnot without having to worry about like the judgment of an audience or like being entertaining or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I struggle on in like my friend's Monster of the Week because I'm just like, it's my first time playing Monster Week, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's different mechanics, just you got to do things a little differently, and I'm like, okay, but I'm like, I struggle to be fucking entertaining,
Yeah.
especially when my character's the Flake and she's just like aliens.
Yeah. Oh
And it's
dang.
very interesting because like Monster of the Week, you really have your players make the story and you just kind of guide them in whatever direction.
Yeah. Yeah, D&D definitely there's not like a rails kind of system or anything like that, or there usually isn't unless you're doing like kick down the door campaigns. But
Mm-hmm.
it definitely is, especially with modules and stuff. It's definitely a lot more guided, where it's like this leads into this leads into that. Whereas like I feel like Monster of the Week is like literally anything can just happen for like no reason at all. Yeah, I would definitely. I feel like D&D is like acting a role, whereas Monster of the Week is like doing improv. You know?
I definitely feel that. It
Mm.
also, you gotta have strong players or people that are comfortable with Monster of the Week because if you don't, especially with the live stream, like if anybody's watching currently, you could definitely go check them out at Aroni, Monster of the Week. Uh, Blue is the DM.
Do you want to do slash shoutout?
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
I don't. They don't have a Twitch, but they have a YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yes.
just Aroni. It's just one word. Adventures in Aroni.
How do you spell it? A
Just how it is. Just Aroni. They don't have anything like weird about it.
like
Also, I think
like that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Be sure to go check them out. Give them some love.
Because they're basically a channel with like multi people learning how to DM, and they each different campaign. There's always a new DM.
That's cool.
So they always try to like roulette it and switch it out.
Oh, smart.
So everybody gets a chance to figure it out.
Yeah. Is Femnem still sleeping, or?
They are in the bathroom.
Ah, okay. I don't know how I
I
want
think
to
they
do
should
this.
be on shortly.
Excellent. Excellent.
If not, I could get up real quick and just be like, "Baby, where you at? You fool!"
You fool.
Nothing like immediately waking up and drawing.
No, no, I'm sorry.
No, I'm trying to make my brain fucking work.
Yeah. I told you could have stayed asleep. You could have been cozy.
No, stream time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So definitely for the Silver Quill guy, I definitely want to make him very, like, kind of sassy Brit.
Oh, that's cute.
Because Silver Quills are all about, like, poetry and writing and, like, that kind of, like, the being linguistically eloquent.
They're like the Prismari, but like the cool, edgy version of
Yeah.
theater.
Yeah. They're like fucking Dead Poet Society or some shit. No cap in my cap. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I want to make a guy, and I definitely want to call him Fable, because like it's been stuck in my head ever since I saw that there's going to be a new Fable. Which, by the way, the actor from IT Crowd, the one who plays Moss, I can never remember his name. But he's doing like the interview for it, right? And he's like, heroes are over, and I'm just worried about vegetables. He's like, oh, this is awkward. And I thought it was just a bit, but then when they had in-game footage of him actually in it, I was like, holy shit, I need to get this new Fable. It's gonna be so good. It's one of my favorite like games, just of all time in general. But fucking.
I can't remember which game I played of Fable on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
That shit was so fucking good.
Yeah. I stuck with Chicken Chaser as my nickname for the whole like fucking thing. So like even when you become like the powerhouse godlike character, they were like, "Oh, it's Chicken Chaser," and I was like, "Yes, good. Remember my roots." Yeah, but so when I saw the trailer, I was like, I've got a friend with a character named Fable, and I want to make a character named Fable, like I've been wanting to, and I'm like, I'm gonna make my Strixhaven dude named fucking Fable. Is gonna be. I don't know about a last name. I keep jumping back and forth. But it's got to be something ink related. So if anybody in chat has any ideas to throw out there. Although I know, like, our biggest fan, Tip, is currently taking a nap because she's fucking exhausted.
Oh, the poor baby.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been very sleepy.
Trying to make her eyes look like she's looking down on you.
Oh my god. Mommy? Mommy? I'm eager to see what other characters we're gonna have in the campaign.
Oh, who's all gonna make what?
Yeah. In the Yanti one, and also in the fucking Strixhaven one, like I'm very eager to see like who's like what the Sorting Hat gives them, you know?
Yeah. Which is funny because they do have like a sorting hat mechanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
shit.
like if someone like wanted to be like, if we want, of course we got to start out first here. So like if there's something like you know, that someone could just message me privately and be like, hey, can I please have this house? I'll be like, yeah. But like if you just want the
hello.
side,
Stinkwell Tapestry. Who's this?
that's gotta be Babe. I hear them laughing.
Why are you making fun of me? Oh no!
Baby, why are you being a bully?
You forgot your login? Oh no!
How do you forget?
And your phone is in the bathroom. Oh no.
Oh my god, this lazy me.
It's
Okay, I gave them the phone. They should be all set now.
They're fine. They can be
I
on.
just gotta go.
Huh?
I got BRB real quick.
Okay. So yeah, for anybody watching, these are just D&D characters and stuff that we're planning on doing eventually. I'm really eager. We got a couple people doing campaigns and stuff, and I'm really excited for just in general what kind of worlds and stuff they're gonna create. Stinkwell over here, or from them, was thinking about doing one, and I'm super excited because I really want to experience them like DMing. Can I drag you in? Yes, sorry. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I can't believe I missed the bus on the first day of art school.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
so embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
embarrassing. Stinkwell Tapestry.
I thought it'd be funny.
It hurt my
And-
feelings.
Well, you gotta get me back. When I stream, you gotta come up with a silly, goofy name and then bully
Oh my
me.
god. Now I'm gonna cry.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna hit the gwitty.
No, not the Gwitty. Anything but the Gwitty.
Yeah. Are you down to do some more Fortnite after stream or?
You already know.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, what have we talked about so far on stream? Because a good portion of it was me in the bathroom, and then after that, it was me trying to figure out my Twitch stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we're just doing. We've decided that since there's a substitute teacher, we're just gonna roll in the that little TV on the cart thing. We're just popping in a movie. We're doing some chill art stream instead and talking about D&D.
Okay.
Next time, I'm gonna talk about where to start with art on the Chalk Talk. But for now, we're just doing some chill art.
Ooh.
Just some hang.
Some fancy art, even.
Yeah. As always, you do not need to. There's no obligation to share your screen. However, if you are doing some art and you would like to show off your screen, I can put it up. But If you just want to vibe and hang with us, you totally can.
I'll vibe and hang for now.
Sounds good. I was telling Tip I'm excited to come visit you because, like, I want to bring, like, Smash Bros. And stuff. And, like,
Ooh.
Mario Kart, right? And then make you a bunch of food.
Oh,
And give
this
you
sounds like a perfect
all
week.
of the snuggles.
Oh. Also, I
Yes.
hate that there's a monthly subscription to this, but is Adobe Illustrator any good? I
I
was just gonna steal a free trial and then never touch it again.
would not do Illustrator because it's mostly for doing graphic design. It's for doing, like, vector stuff. Adobe Illustrator is for if you want to make SVG files, which are used for making, like, icons and buttons and all sorts of UI stuff.
Okay. So I realized I could scroll down on the Adobe screen. So would I be looking at like either Photoshop or
I'm back.
I guess
Welcome back.
Illustrator Draw? One of the two.
I wouldn't use, personally, I would not start out with an Adobe product. What I would suggest is getting Clip Studio Paint. It's
Hell yeah.
basically the same thing, only better, and it has a way more powerful brush engine. And also, it's like $1 a month. And that's if you want,
I
like,
straight out bought it before they started doing the monthly stuff thing.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to, you just use my login.
there you go.
Hmm?
Otherwise, there's, like, Krita or Fire Alpaca or, you know.
Yeah, I'm actually on the Krita home screen right now. I was gonna ask if it's any good.
It's pretty good.
I'll try Krita, and then if I don't like this, I'll ask Jade for her login.
Yeah.
Windows installer 64-bit.
I want to do this, like, open vest long coat kind of thing with him.
Ooh.
Like, I'm obsessed with characters that never wear shirts when they're supposed to wear shirts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, like, I can identify with that so much.
I wish to be naked.
I wish to be naked, but society says no! No, Tap, you are not allowed. You are a stinkwell. And I say, ah!
Yeah, society really just called you Stinkwell, didn't they?
Uh-huh.
We live in a society. Well, tap.
And this on Pride of all months. Wow.
It's Pride every month. What are you talking about?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a friend send me, speaking of living in a society and pride and, like, all that sort of stuff. I had a friend send me a meme that was like, haha, your friends genuinely love you and cherish you. Haha, they only care about you because it only takes 2 minutes for you to brighten up their space. I was like, is it, like, this is cute, but also I love the way it's written like a, like, fucking get dunked on nerd.
Yeah.
I'll have to send it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. The screen might go a little bit weird for a hot second.
Oh my god, how could you, Tab?
How could I? I'm used to you saying the other thing, so I'm super glad you didn't, like, dox me.
Well, I'm not gonna dox you.
Yeah. Here you go. I thought that was cute as hell. I posted it, but I don't know what kind of pose I'm doing with this sketch. I don't even know what kind of. I might make his, like,
His
huh?
arms stretched out like, give me a bear hug, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, you know. was like this kind of fucking like come get some, you know.
I think this first stream is just gonna be me learning how to use this tablet, actually.
Okay, so that's actually a really important thing that I wanted to talk about, right? Is
Okay.
when
Guys, it secretly was a chalk talk the entire time.
boom, got you, tricked you into learning. So
Damn it!
hold on, let me just real quick.
I'll share my screen for this one. You know what? Just because I'm learning, I will share my screen.
Oh, that's totally cool. We can.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Hold on. Let me change some things around. I need to. Where's my desktop? Excuse me. Here we go.
It's in front of you, silly goose. What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's do this and let me go. Boom, boom. Show my screen. We're gonna add this, and then we're gonna change this to show non-video participants, and then we're gonna go grid.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna go grab a drawing glove because I understand why it's useful now. Holy shit!
A drawing
Hang on.
them.
Do you want one of mine? Is that what you're doing? Didn't even have to look for it. There you go. Mwah.
Okay, I am back, and I understand the usefulness of this glove. Oh my god.
Yeah. Let me just real quick fix this, and we'll do something like this, and we'll go.
Yeah, I want to give her the Shibugino eyebrows.
Oh hell yeah! There we go. Let's see if that updates. Mint tag.
Oh my god, is Babe having their own tag? Wild.
Oh my god.
It's Mint's tag, but it's just written over. Because for this one you're in Mint's spot, so we're just gonna.
Baby's learning.
So
Yeah.
there is an important thing that happens when you are learning art, and not just art but digital art, right? You're learning how to use a digital software, which is already kind of a nightmare, and B, learn how to use art. So it is important to learn how to do all of the things in your art program before you learn how to do art. This is why I always suggest for people the old analog of a pen and paper, right?
Gross.
I know. So pen and paper, super easy to learn, right? There's only one like dealie. There's only one resolution. You're not going to be changing anything like that. You don't need to worry about stuff like DPI or pixels and all sorts of nonsense. With an art program, you have menus and folders and bars and taskbars and buttons and tools and every single little thing in and around your little noggin can fucking grasp, right? And it can be overwhelming. So the most important thing to know is, one, what your brush key is, right? So find that. It's usually B. So B is usually in most art programs your brush key. Then you'll just do your pencil, move it about and draw how you want. The other one is the erase key, which is usually E. These are the two keys that are the most important in all of any art program. Everything else is gravy on top. When you're learning...
Wait, erase as in the eraser or like the backspace?
Nope, the eraser. the eraser
Okay,
tool.
I've got the brush key is bound to, I guess I'm gonna say P1, like pen 1,
Hmm.
and then if I click it again, that enables the eraser, and this is actually pretty smooth. Like I've gotten I can adjust my pixel size, I
Hmm.
can move the screen, I figured out the zoom. I don't know what the bottom 2 buttons do though.
That's okay. After you've mastered the brush key and you've mastered the erase key, right? What I want everybody out there to learn is how to increase and decrease the size of your brush. Usually that's going to be assigned the bracket keys. So these little brackets. It's not always that in every program, but it usually is. So those are going to be your new best friends. The B key, the E key, the bracket keys. That's going to help you adjust the size of your brush and the and just your ability to, erase and change stuff. After that, all you're gonna do is brush. You're just gonna art. You're just gonna start goofing around with stuff. Worry first and foremost about just making marks, about the ability to get stuff down onto the paper, get comfortable with it, play around, do a bunch of doodles, make like a little, like butt or something. It doesn't matter. Anything you want to do. Try not to get overwhelmed by everything else in your art program, because learning art is hard enough as it is. I suggest whatever program you land on and you are comfortable with as you learn, you watch tutorials from people who are far more suited than I to actually, teach you your program, because I don't use every art program out there. So it's important to know what your key features are and everything like that, so that it can enable you to learn more. But for now, all you need is the brush, the eraser, and the ability to change the size of your brush. You can start out by doing some practices of making shapes, making lines, doing squiggles. After that, I want you to try to get more comfortable with your line control. So if you look on my little screen, you'll notice that I've put these 4 dots in a weird configuration. It kind of looks like a constellation. You're going to do your best to trace a line and make like a smooth curve along all those 4 lines. You're going to do that again with a series of 3 lines and try to connect all of them. And it's okay if you don't hit them the first time. This is just to practice and get better control over your pen, because there's a disconnect when you're doing digital art between your tablet and your hand, right? But between what you're seeing on the screen and what you're doing on the actual tablet. And this goes for those tablets that don't have screens on them, but it's hard. It's hard in the very beginning.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yep. It's uncomfortable, but it's something I want you to do every day. That will help you learn better line control. It'll help you get better at just kind of getting things down. Also, for certain programs, especially for tablets that are very glossy and feel like they're way too quick, like working with a gel pen. Make sure you know where your stabilizer is in your program. There's no shame in using them. They will help adjust things accordingly and make your lines a little bit cleaner and smoother. If you don't want to go that route, and instead you would like something to be a little bit slower and have a little bit more tooth, you can tape a piece of paper over your drawing tablet if it's not the screen kind. And that will help slow down and give it a little bit of grit and give it a little bite. That's what I've always done. It's something that Cinex suggests, and it's particularly helpful.
I might get a piece of paper. I have no tape. Never mind.
Oh.
I will do this for the next time, but that's actually super helpful.
Yeah. I suggest a watercolor paper. If you get a chance or if you can find one. It has a lot of tooth to it, and it can help slow it down and make it feel like an actual pen. Or actual pencil, rather. Anyway, that was your lesson for the day.
I'm sorry.
Thank
babe.
you.
I think I left my watercolor paper at my parents'.
No, that's okay.
It was the nice kind that was $20 a page.
Oh, no.
And you were gonna let me just use it, just to put on my tablet?
Yeah.
I mean, you would only need the one.
True.
And
Presumably.
they're not small papers, let me tell you. They're just giant, like almost half the size of me.
Mm.
And they're wide. So you just be snipping. And like, I already destroyed them and like snip them for smaller pictures and pieces anyway.
Yeah.
I think for next stream, I'm gonna set up the bedroom next to us, because the glare on the screen is also kind of like the worst.
Oh, no.
I thought it was bad in video games, but having a whole ass TV reflecting 3 windows at alternate angles.
Oh, no.
Anyways,
Well, I'm glad you're getting into your foray in art because I've been excited. I've been eager to see because we talk about it every now and again, and it's always in like the back of my mind of like what new things are we gonna see from you?
yeah.
Mm,
Paintbrush.
I don't know how I want this character to look. I got no idea.
With his eyes.
You're right. I was thinking butthole, but man, you're on it today.
Yeah, I took an anatomy class once in high school. Don't mean to brag, but basically Dr. Doolittle over here.
Oh, snap. Mm. This is going to be another one of those art days where I cannot do any art.
Me yesterday.
No. Oh no. This is something else that happens. I want everybody to be aware of it. That like sometimes you just have a bad art day. And there's no shame in it. You just push through, do what you can. If you're not comfortable with like your painting that you're making, just it's fine to come back to it another day.
I'm gonna draw a wiener and make this stream not allowed.
Oh no. So there's something else that beginners will do when you're starting art. And I know this because I did it. And it's a feathering technique where you feather your lines or pet them, right? Where you just kind of gently bloop, 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 and your one line is made up of a ton of lines. And that is okay to do. It is totally fine. Eventually, though, I want you to get used to just whoop, making one line. And the reason that the petting happens is because a lot of times you're working with just your fingertips. You're just doing your fingertips or your wrist, and you can't make a particularly long line. Now, if you float your arm a little bit and connect your pen to your tablet, and then drag your arm over, move your elbow, like move your entire forearm, it will help you make a longer line, and you can make it a lot smoother. Boop, boop, boom. It is a really hard thing to get used to because we're taught how to use pens with in regards to writing, which only takes fine motor skills of your fingertips and your wrists.
Yeah, I'm having the issue where like I'm trying to go like straight down and then my arm seems to be like cutting over.
Yeah. That's another thing that happens is we're taught when it comes to doing drawing and stuff like that, or writing, we're taught to pull the line towards us, right? Now, eventually you run out of space because you're kind of in your own way. Your arm doesn't want to do that movement. It's having to like adjust your shoulder. It's having to adjust your elbow in order to accommodate. Try pushing your line away. So make an outward motion away from your chest instead of towards your chest. Yeah, see? Look at that.
Gonna get this. The other issue I'm having right now too is that the gradient, I guess, is like too strong. So like I want to just have it be like this right here.
Yeah.
But it keeps getting super dark, and then if I press too hard, then it's that. You know.
Yeah, so that's pen pressure. That's something that's going to take some tweaking, and that's something that's personal to every different person. It depends on how heavy-handed or soft-handed you are, and it's something that you can train yourself out of, but a lot of programs usually have ways to adjust it. I know specifically for the Huion tablets, you can go into they have like a little driver tray or a system tray like icon that you can click. Then it'll tell you like your pen pressure, and you can adjust it, and you can see how heavy-handed you are, and do like a whole curve. That's another thing that we can focus on later, and anytime you need help, feel free to message me, like literally whenever. I could be just about to lay down or something, you'd be like, hey, time to teach me some art tap, and I'll be like, fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's definitely a foray, and for sure when I come visit, I'm going to adjust like a bunch of settings for you, and we're gonna practice a bunch with the tablet and figure it out.
Okay, I've adjusted the pen a little bit, so let's try this again.
There you go. Let's see.
That's a lot better.
There you go.
It's not instantly like, bleh, you know?
Yeah.
Can I? Also, let me Control Z. Okay. I'm also gonna get the backspace key programmed into the tablet real quick. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. You take your time. This is what this is all about. It's all about figuring out your new tools and getting used to art as a whole and your software as a whole. And a lot of people don't realize that like digital art is itself its own media, right? It's not it's not something that people can just like boom, art, now you know how to do digital art. It's an entire different ball game and stuff that you have to learn. It's like learning how to use oil paints or acrylics or gouache, watercolor, you name it. There is a learning curve, and it will take some time.
Ooh, I did those backwards. Whoops.
The other technique you can do to train your line quality and your line control is something called start-stop. So you have two dots, right, that you make, and then you're trying your best to stop your pen exactly on that second dot. Something called draw-through, which is where you just keep going and you're trying to connect those two dots, is another way to strengthen your line control. However, the most important one is going to be start-stop, of knowing where to end your line. And that's a skill that's really hard to learn, and something that I personally still struggle with. But once you can get that down, it'll be a lot easier to draw stuff out.
Okay.
If this is a lot at once, I apologize.
Actually, no. Like, given how relatively simple like Krita, sorry,
Yeah.
Krita is, and also like how really simple the driver is for the tablet, it's surprisingly not too much. You know,
Yeah, good, good.
it's just a matter of, learning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of why I was excited to give you the Q11K, is because it's got enough space. You're not too distracted by things being on the screen. I feel that having one that doesn't have a screen is usually better to learn on when it comes to digital software, because it helps you kind of pace yourself and like space out. And eventually we'll upgrade you to one that has a screen, but for now, Huion stuff is really intuitive. It's really like comfortable. I know the Cintiq has a lot of other like advanced features, but we don't really need to worry about that for now. So the Q11K is like perfect for you right now. And like look at that. Look at you from just earlier on when you were doing that to now what you're doing. We're already seeing improvements. You're learning the software, you're learning the hardware.
Next time I'm gonna be basically Da Vinci.
Da Vinci. You'll be better than me.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I believe it. I wholeheartedly believe that with enough practice you will outpace me. Oh. We'll get you there, don't worry.
Okay.
And I'm like, anytime you need, like now that you've started your art foray, just hit me up. It could be at like 3 a.m. You'd be like, Tap, I got an art question. I'll be like, let's go.
Well, 3 a.m. is actually a good time to contact you. Now, if it was like 2 p.m, I don't know. You might be sleeping.
You know what? Okay. But yeah, so it's exciting. It's really exciting to see artists jump into like a new medium and get into stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here. The other thing is that I wanted to say is, again, there's nothing wrong with doing the petting the line stuff, right? Because you can always make a new layer on top of it and then trace over the lines you just made.
Whoa,
Shit,
whoa,
like
whoa.
I'm doing right now. Most of the time,
Are you
when I'm
telling
sketching,
me that we can trace some lines in art? I thought that was against the law.
So, you can use trace.
This isn't a bit, by the way. I do genuinely want to talk about this in the art podcast, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, tracing is actually a very important tool. It is something that I advise for a lot of people, which is surprising coming from me, I know. Because I always tell people, hey, don't trace stuff and post it as your own. And that's the distinction, right? Is it's one thing when you're doing tracing in like let's say there's like a person and you're like, they've got like their face and their nose and stuff and their lips, all that sort of deal, and you're sitting there tracing over their head and stuff and figuring it out. The only thing you're going to do when you are tracing over it and posting it as your own work instead of trying to learn from it is that you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to make it so that you're not actually learning anything from that process, and you're going to stunt your growth as an artist, and you're going to make it so that it's harder for you to actually pick apart what is actually going on here. You're on essentially guide rails, and you're never going to get your training wheels off, and at some point you're going to run out of material that you can steal, right? And I know we say steal. I know it sounds like a big bad scary thing, and I get why people do it. But if you instead find something like a person's face, right? And you know what? Let's pull a reference, right? Here's what we're gonna do. So we're going to do. So let's do boop. And can we paste that? All right. So I'm gonna show you something that is normally a big no, at least to the art community, right? And this is what I say, is that we get... I always advocate for everybody just being 40% more chill, right?
Yeah.
Is that we as artists get so caught up in what is right and what is wrong that we forget that everybody has a different method of learning, right? It is important to know that you cannot trace and steal and post it as your own, because one, that harms people who are trying to produce original art, who are trying to show what they have learned and make money off of their own stuff. It hurts the art community as a whole, and it hurts yourself. However, it is a very, very important tool when you are trying to learn stuff like how to make specific lines or the features of a face or anything like that, right? So what I'm going to show you is something called an anatomy trace. We're going to focus in the lines in this person's neck, right? In regards to the jawline. So what we're doing is educational drawing. We're doing drawing that we don't know what we're doing. So we're going to look at a reference, and in this case, we're going to trace a reference. And I know everybody out there is already losing their shit. Hold on. Bear with me.
Be 40% more chill and bear with us.
Be 40% more chill. So we're going to open our peepers. We're going to open our art eyes. And when people say look at something artistically, it sounds asinine. It sounds like people are going, hey, just use your eyes, forehead. And that's kind of what they're saying, because there's something called expert blindness, where you don't realize how much you actually know more than a beginner. Which is why I practice the philosophy of Xiu-Shen, which is the beginner's mind, is having an open mind and assuming that you know nothing. And it helps you maintain that distance between expert blindness and beginning. So, what I'm going to look for is I'm going to look for any sort of contrast, any sort of difference in their face. And if you don't understand what that means, that's okay. You're new, you don't know contrast. I'm not saying you specifically, Them. I'm saying artists as a whole.
Oh, no, absolutely, I do not know contrast.
Contrast is this important thing where it is a difference between two different values. And I know, see, we're already running into problems, because just in trying to describe to you what this thing is, remember, we're talking about tracing. And we're already over here in like 5D chess territory. I'm talking about values. I'm talking about contrast. I'm going to start talking about hard edges and soft edges, and then lost edges. That's a nightmare, right? There's so much to learn before you can even begin to learn. It's a scary thing. I do not blame you if all you want to do is work in iconography and go, here is the ear. Here is where like the head ends up going. And then, like, the neck and stuff like that. But when people do these traces, and they're not actually looking with an artistic eye, and they don't know anything about art to begin with, and all you're doing is to steal, is that you're going to trace every single line, even if it's not important, because you think that it is important. You think that every little change, every little detail, every little thing that your brain wants to turn into a line is absolutely necessary. And if you think for a minute that you're fooling the art community, I can guarantee you might be fooling some beginners, but that's exactly what we look for as artists, is we can tell when it's traced. You're not fooling no one. So this kind of thing that I'm doing right now, this is just a trace. This is not in any way, shape, or form what you should be doing. And I say should, because you can. It's fine, right? And then when I hide this, it just looks weird, right? Because...
This looks like those 80s aesthetic videos.
That's what I'm saying, is because we've traced every single line, even though it's not relevant, right? So, we're gonna set this guy aside, right? We're gonna keep him
out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna keep him in mind, right? Because now
put him in the timeout box.
Put him in the timeout box. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look for specific areas with hard edges or changed values And values are the difference between a light and a dark, right? It's the difference between two different colors where you have black, gray, white. In the simplest terms, that is what value is. We're going to do a little trick that I like to do, where we're going to boop, and we're going to paint this whole thing, boom. But we're going to do an effect called color, right? So now we've changed it to black and white. What we can do is we can pull out, we're not worrying about, oh, hold on.
Nice, we can pull out.
I
POV
can't.
live in 1960 and color hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, right. Oh no! Oh no! Is my Photoshop crashing? Please.
Oh!
Oh no!
The god said it was too powerful.
There we go. I fixed it. I am more powerful than that god. So now we're gonna we can just color pick and we can see where there's different values, right? We have like right here, that's the background, but then we have right here, if we can fucking put it. So we've got boom, and then the background, right? And where it's mixing those two, from his neck and from the background, that is contrast. There's two different values happening, and it's creating a hard edge right here, right? We're gonna do this in a red layer now. It's creating a hard edge. We want to focus on contrast. We want to focus where there's the most change, right? But also, we want to focus on general anatomy. This is why this is called an anatomy trace.
Okay.
Oops. We're going to keep him because he looks super silly. This is where, again, even if you're tracing, knowing and studying anatomy is important. And this is a process. This is a thing that you are using as a tool to learn. And then eventually you're going to do better traces. And then eventually you're going to do better traces. And eventually you're going to get to a point where you no longer need to do any traces and you just know the anatomy off the top of your head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like when somebody who has done anatomy traces before does a sort of trace. We're focusing on the outline of his head, right? Boom. We're going to avoid this line because we don't need it. We don't need that chin. But we're going to mark where his jawline is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to continue up. We're going to follow the rest of this, and then we're going to connect it, right? We're going to mark where his ear is. We're going to mark where the bottom of his ear is, and then we're going to connect it. We're going to mark where the back of his head is, and where it connects with, barring his hairline. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to mark where his eyes are with a line. We're going to mark where his mouth is, again, with a line. And then we're going to mark where his nose is, right? We can make a box because we go boom, boom, boom. That's where the nose is. That's all of that stuff. We've got the neck going in, line, line, right? So now, whoop. Immediately, it looks way more human. It still looks silly, right? But it looks way more human than just tracing every single line. This is an anatomy trace. We're tracing over the features to figure out how they would show up. After that, we're going to do another line over it. Let's do this in light blue. And we're going to focus on specific features. We're going to go boom, boom. That's where an eye is. Boom, boom. That's all the eye we can see, right? Boom. That's where a nostril is. Boom. That's where the mouth. Nope. Mouth. Boom. And this is where the mouth ends. So we're going to boop, boop. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got the chin. But what I want to focus on is this area of highest contrast. Because we'll notice that unlike right here and right here, there's not that hard line. Right here, this kind of fades. This is called a soft edge. We're going to mark where the deepest shadow is. That's it. We've got the ear. We're going to mark the eyebrows. We're going to mark the hairline for posterity's sake. And then we're going to follow something that is part of the trapezius. It is part of the entire connective tissue. These are lines that happen with the ligaments and the arteries. And now we're going to turn off that layer. And now look, whoa, it's starting to look way more human now, isn't it?
Whoa!
Right?
Wild.
And that looks way more human than just tracing every single line. And this is what I mean when I say, when you are further on in your art career, you can tell when people are just tracing every single line that they think is important and relevant, right? This is where stylization comes from. This is where, figuring out like lighting and contrast and line work and all that sort of stuff comes from. Is that we're just getting the base area, the baselines, the base general idea of this character, of this person doing this pose. Now, from there, I can change it and make it however I want. And even that is kind of morally gray, because again, we've just traced over someone's head, but we're not using it one-for-one line. What we're instead doing is we're using it as a tool to figure out how our placement of everything is going to go. So we can then, with the new layer and with that off, start combining stuff and figuring out where everything is, right? You go bam, we got the philtrum, the lips come out a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. Chin. Boop, boop, boop. Still here, but elsewhere. Gotcha. You okay? How you?
They seem fine. I think they just went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Gotcha. So we're gonna build it up kind of like a mask, right? Boom, boom, boom. And we can turn off the layer under it, and we have everything there. And we can learn from this, right? We can learn from this, and that's fine. And you can do as much tracing as you want. And again, this is for us. This is a tool for learning. We're not passing this off as our own. We're making it very clear that, hey, we're tracing a bunch of stuff, right? I'm showing you in a stream that this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to pass it off as my own work. I'm not looking for those accolades and that response of, wow, you did so good. That gives you all the fuzzy feelings, because if that's all you're chasing, then you're never going to improve. So instead, what I want you to do is when you get to a point where you are comfortable with being able to piece this together, because as a new artist, I genuinely do not know any anatomy, Yes! And that's the thing, too, is that half of the art community will tell you it is a crime punishable by death to ever trace. And a lot of times those are the same people that tell you you can't use references, which is just flat out silly. What I am saying is that I want you to be honest with people around you and honest with yourself, right? If you are doing traces, use it only to learn. Use it as a skill to put together gaps in your knowledge. From there, you'll slowly advance, and what you're going to do is take those traces, take that stuff that you have been putting together and learning, boom, set them aside, right? I want you to start trying to draw from reference after you figure out how to draw from tracing, right? After you figure out how to trace their anatomy and figure out what lines are important and where you need things to go and what's important to include, you'll start figuring out these kind of shortcuts and these landmarks that are necessary and that show up in everything, in every bit of anatomy. And every artist who teaches anatomy will tell you this, right? Anthony Ryder's book, Anatomy for Artists, is probably one of the best ones that I've ever found, right? And it goes into not needing to know the medical anatomy, but knowing where to place the landmarks. Stan Prokopenko, he's another artist. He has a YouTube channel, Proko. Go check them out. They will talk about the landmarks. This is something called gesture drawing, that like you'll work on just landmarks and getting a feel for the piece. It's a scary place to start. You don't know what you don't know, and not having the vocabulary to even ask the right questions in a place loaded with landmines of, oh my god, you traced, you're dead to art now, right? It's a scary place. So I understand if you're hesitant to jump into it and you're hesitant to learn. But this is what I say when I say find a community. Find people who will teach you and be 40% more chill, right? Is we're going to start setting this aside. We're going to start trying to draw from reference. So we're going to do boom. And now what I want to do is I want to try to piece together stuff. And even here's what we're going to do. We're going to trace this guy again, right? But this time we're going to use it more as a tool. More as a tool and less relying on where to put the landmarks. Because if I'm a new artist and I don't know how the head do, right? We're going to find these important landmarks. The jawline. How that head do. We're going to find the important landmarks like the jawline, right? We're going to find the overall arc and direction of the face. And same thing. We're going to go bam. We're going to mark where the ear is. We can even include it if we want. But that's all we're doing, right? Is we're doing where the neck meets the head. And that, right? And now I'm going to move it over. Let's take this guy. We're going to shrink him a little bit. So we've done this trace, right? We've done this trace, and there's like nothing to this trace. We just have the general outline. And now I'm going to go on another layer, the same thing we did before. I'm going to try to mark where the different parts are that are important, the different landmarks, right? We've got his eyebrow juts out a little bit, and then his nose juts out even further than that, right? And we're going to go, okay, so like this kind of bit right here, you know, has like a little bit of a you know, this kind of dealy, and then we got like the lips kind of jut out a little bit, and then they make like this weird line, and then they do this for like the jaw, and that kind of comes in, and it's gonna look really weird and wonky when you first start doing this, and that's why I'm doing it the way I am, right? Is like you're like, okay, this kind of comes in halfway through here, and then there's like the eyebrow, and then like the hair, and then like this other eyebrow where like the eyebrow should go, and then like, you know, the eye, and oh my god, and there's like a nostril or something, and I don't know what's happening here. We got, oh, there's so much shit going sorts of wild, and now that we've got this silly goofy nonsense and we're gonna overlay it, that's the thing, isn't it, right? Is that when you're beginning, you're gonna be like, wow, stuff is way off, and I have no idea where anything's supposed to go, and I'm trying to draw this based on, you know, the trace thing that I said that I figured from Tap told me what to do. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to fail, and that sounds weird, right? But I want you to fail as much as possible, because the more you fail, the more you're going to learn how to adjust, the more you're going to go, okay, wait a minute, I fucked up this looks nothing like this guy. Where did we go wrong, right? Well, I'll tell you where we went wrong. We got in our head that we knew where stuff was. We're not using measurements. We're not using observational techniques. The nose, boom. It's wrong. It's not where it needed to be. So we're going to make note of that. The eyebrow, how did that go? That's a little bit bigger than... Oh, let me do this on another layer, actually, so I can make my point. Nose, right? Eyebrow ridge, boom. Where the other eyebrow goes... that little connective bit, the lips come out, that little bit, and the chin, right? So now we're going to take that trace, right? And again, this looks nothing like what the person is, but we're trying to mark where we went wrong with our proportions, right? Let me change this to a different color. So where did we go wrong with our proportions? And now you're going to start marking and going, oh, whoopsie doodle, I did the nose weird, I did the lips and stuff kind of right? And like the chin was kind of right, but I was way off about this eyebrow. And this one was way lower than this, so I got it in my head that the head was longer. So I need to like focus on these areas. And now, guess what? You've got things to work on. Specific things. Tangible, quantifiable things, right? we've got this part down, right? Now let's try to draw it again without, relying on tracing over him, but doing the same thing of going, now I need to be more mindful and more aware of this relation, of the relation between the nose and the eyebrow ridge. This is why using tracing is so important, is because it helps give you a baseline and a guide for how you're actually going to adjust your skills and how you're going to improve and the things that you need to focus on. And this goes into, too, when I say, hey, when you give critiques, you do not need to do a compliment sandwich. I do not need to tell you, I like the colors, but I don't like this. But I like what... Because it's insincere half the time, right? Half the time you're struggling to pull from anything. But what I can say, however, is, hey, great job. However, you need to work on proportion and focus on the relation between the eyebrow ridge and the nose. Now, I haven't been a dick. I haven't been an asshole. I haven't told you, wow, your art sucks and you look like a child, whatever. What I have given you is specific things, tangible, quantifiable things to work towards and change. And when you have that down, when you are not only honest with your critiques, you're going to get, people who are helping you improve. But when you focus on learning how to do these critiques and being honest with yourself, that is first and foremost. I do not give a shit what anybody else thinks about you. I do not give a shit what, anybody thinks about me in terms of art. Art is for you. Plain and simple. You can make it for friends, you can make it for whoever, but art is for you. If you are happy with tracing stuff because you're glad that you can do it and it makes you feel joy, then by God, do whatever you want. But if deep down you have a weird feeling in your gut and you're feeling jealous or shame or any of that sort of stuff, be honest with yourself. Tell yourself, hey, I deserve better, and I'm going to treat myself better, and I'm going to treat myself kinder. I want you to improve on your art journey and do art for you, and make art that makes you happy, right? As long as you are comfortable with your piece, that is all that matters. Anyway, that's my rant.
Damn.
Sorry. I'm very passionate. I love art.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Thank you.
You missed the entire thing.
Oh no, did you actually miss the whole thing?
No, I was in Twitch, I was watching
Oh.
my phone. The end of the stream is when I unmuted because I sat down.
Oh, okay. So I think I might call it there, but I want to know any questions, comments, concerns from anybody. If you're in chat and you have any questions, let me know. The people that I'm streaming with currently, Choni and your favorite femdom. Do either of you have any questions, comments, or complaints?
Nothing really. I just think people need to be more chill about when it comes to referencing and I guess becoming as a beginning artist, because there are some days where I just can't fucking work, and in order for me to push myself, I'll trace over a few things for a few times and then just do it off of what the dynamics and lines that I remembered, and then just use it as a reference.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no matter what, you can always stylize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it doesn't have to be line per line, and at the end of the day, when you start drawing more, you'll develop your own little niche style, because everybody has really cartoon. Mine is weird hybrid between semi-realistic and anime. You'll just get comfortable and you know which anatomy and where to place things.
Yeah.
I also love that I could hear the baby boy in the background screaming.
Yeah, it's about time for me to feed him, so.
I love him.
Yeah, that's usually the bell for class being over.
Well, it was fun. I
Good.
promise I won't miss the bus next time.
That's okay.
But-
I appreciate you being around. Especially as, and I don't mean this in any sort of bad way, but especially as a new artist. That is the most sacred thing, I think, is to begin your art journey, and I'm so eager to watch you grow as an artist.
Well, I'm eager to be able to not draw like a little baby poo-poo.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for coming around, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. And remember, don't eat your paint. Class dismissed.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.